If your dog follows you to every single room, you've probably already wondered about it. To the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the bedroom, back to the living room, and then to the kitchen again. Everywhere you go, there they are. Most people think they know why. They assume it's just love, or maybe boredom, or a habit that formed somewhere along the way. But the real reasons are deeper and more specific than most owners ever realize. And one of them, the one we'll get to at the end, might completely change the way you see this behavior forever. Let's start with the reason almost no one talks about. 1. They are not following you. They are staying with their group. Dogs are not solitary animals. They never have been. For thousands of years before domestication, the survival of a dog depended entirely on staying with their group. Being separated from the group was not an inconvenience, it was a genuine threat. And that ancient wiring does not disappear just because your dog now lives in a 2-bedroom apartment and eats from a ceramic bowl. When your dog follows you from room to room, part of what is happening is not really about you at all. It is about what you represent. You are their group. You are their pack. And in the deepest part of their nervous system, leaving the group, even for the 3 minutes it takes you to make a cup of tea, registers as something that needs to be corrected. They are not following you because they are needy. They are staying with their group because that is what members of a group do. Understanding this one thing changes everything about how you interpret the behavior. 2. You are the most interesting thing in their environment. Think about what your dog's day actually looks like when you are home. There is the couch, there is the window, there is the same corner they have sniffed 1,000 times. And then there is you, moving, doing things, opening things, going places, carrying things, making sounds. You are the most dynamic, unpredictable, and interesting element in their entire world. Research into canine enrichment consistently shows that owner interaction is one of the most powerful forms of mental stimulation a dog can receive. More than toys, more than background noise, more than most other forms of enrichment. You are essentially a walking enrichment event. Every time you move to a new room, you take the most interesting thing in their environment with you. Of course they follow. What else would they do? Stay behind with the couch? And stay with me, because later in this video I will tell you about a specific reason dogs follow that is connected to something much older than companionship. Something that goes back to before dogs were dogs. Most owners have never heard this, and once you do, you will never walk through your house the same way again. 3. They are reading your patterns and waiting for the good parts. Your dog has lived with you long enough to know your routine better than you know it yourself. They know that when you go to the kitchen in the morning, food is coming. They know that when you pick up your keys, a walk might happen. They know that when you sit on the couch in the evening, that is when the slow, quiet petting happens. They have mapped your entire day. Every room you move to carries a different probability of something wonderful occurring. And the only way to be present for all of those possibilities is to go where you go. This is not passive following. It is active anticipation. Your dog is not trailing behind you aimlessly. They are positioning themselves for the best possible outcomes. It looks like devotion, and in part it is. But underneath the devotion is a very intelligent animal who has studied you carefully and decided that proximity to you is always the highest percentage move. 4. They feel safer when they can see you. Dogs are prey animals as much as they are predators. And prey animals have a deep biological need to monitor potential threats in their environment. You, as their primary attachment figure, serve as what behavioral scientists call a secure base. When you are visible, your dog's nervous system is regulated. When you disappear, even briefly, even into a room 10 feet away, that regulation gets slightly disrupted. It is not anxiety in a clinical sense for most dogs. It is just a mild, constant preference for having you in their visual field. Think of it like this. Imagine being in a large, unfamiliar building with one person you completely trust. You would probably stay relatively close to that person without thinking too hard about why. Not because you are frightened, but because their presence makes the environment feel manageable. That is what your dog is doing every time they get up to follow you out of a room. They are maintaining a condition that feels better than the alternative. 5. They are doing their job. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning, the one that goes back further than companionship, further than domestication, further than almost anything we typically associate with dogs. For most of human and canine history, dogs were not pets, they were working animals. And one of the most important jobs a dog could have was guarding. Monitoring movement, staying aware of where the members of the group were at all times. Many dogs still carry this deep in their behavioral DNA. When your dog follows you from room to room, they are not just seeking your company, they are tracking you. They are keeping you in their awareness because something in their wiring says that this is their responsibility. You are under their care. And a dog who takes their responsibilities seriously does not let their charge wander out of sight without following. The next time your dog gets up from a comfortable spot to follow you down the hallway, consider the possibility that they are not doing it for themselves. They are doing it for you. 6. It means something different depending on when it happens. Not all following is the same. A dog who follows you calmly throughout the day, getting up when you get up, settling when you settle, is showing healthy attachment and secure bonding. That is normal. That is good. But a dog who cannot let you out of their sight without becoming visibly distressed, panting, pacing, whining, scratching at doors, is showing something different. That is anxiety. And it is worth distinguishing between the two because the response to each is completely different. Healthy following does not need to be corrected or discouraged. It does not need to be trained away. It is your dog expressing something real and something positive about the bond between you. Anxious following, on the other hand, deserves attention and support, not punishment, not dismissal, but a genuine effort to help your dog feel safe in your absence. If you are unsure which kind your dog is showing, watch what happens when you leave the room. Calm dogs settle. They may watch the door, but they settle. Anxious dogs cannot settle. That distinction tells you everything. 7. They are telling you something about your relationship. Here is the part that stays with you. When your dog follows you to every room, they are making a choice. Every single time. They get up from somewhere comfortable. They leave a warm spot. They interrupt whatever they were doing. And they come to where you are. Nobody asked them to. Nobody trained them to. They just do it. Over and over every day. Because the answer to, where should I be right now, is always the same for them. They should be where you are. There is a version of this behavior that is about need, and there is a version that is about want. And in most dogs, in most healthy bonded dogs, what looks like need is actually want. They want to be near you. They have decided on their own, without conditions, that your presence is where they are most themselves. You are not just their owner, you are their place.